How should you prepare to have a meeting with a guy like me, with an attorney involved in family law? Well, there are some things that can make that first meeting with us go very well for you or very bad for you as far as you getting what you need out of it. So, one of the keys is to prepare for it. So, if it's a divorce case, some of the things you want to bring is, at the minimums, a list of what your assets are. So, we kind of know what we're playing with there, the complexities of those sorts of things. Maybe your tax returns, pay stubs, bank statements, some of that kind of stuff. And if your case involves also custody, if you have to have maybe kept a calendar of who's doing what with the kids, who takes them to the dentist, who takes them to the doctor, who's helping them with their homework, making sure they get their chores done, and that sort of thing. So information about that. Now, if it's more of a protective order situation, if you've got photos of the injuries, police reports, some of those kind of things, that can help a lot in the protective order context. So some things to do in your first meeting. Number one, show up. That helps. Uh, Secondly, take some notes, ask good questions, be honest. The worst thing in the world for a guy like me is to show up in court and find out that our client has been less than truthful, has not told us the whole story, and there are missing facts that completely obliterate their case that had we known about, we could have prepared for, maybe been ready to handle. You know, that's a big, big thing. Some questions always ask us, how many cases have you handled? What's your experience? How are you going to communicate? Who helps you with your case? One of the things in my office is we have a team. We've got myself, a remote attorney, and we've got several legal assistants that help do things because some things are done by legal assistants just effectively as an attorney and save the client a lot of money by having that legal assistant do the work. We communicate by text and email and phone calls. One trick with attorneys is we plan out our days because we've got work to get done. We've got client meetings. We have court, and it's really hard for us to take those emergency calls. Now, if it's a legitimate emergency, I do everything I can to take those calls. But if it's not kind of a life and death situation, just call and get on our calendar, even for a 15-minute call back, and make sure you let our staff know what questions you want us to answer for you. So if you're looking at a family law situation, it's a divorce, bring those financial documents. If there's custody involved, make sure we've got some facts to support the position you want to take when it comes to custody for that meeting. And the thing also to remember is with attorneys, one of the things that's really interesting is when I meet with people for the first time, I usually sit across from the table. So I'm going to put my client over there and I'm on this side. And I use that as a metaphor that in my office, I'm going to challenge you. I may not be your friend because if I don't challenge you, I'm not going to get the information. I've had people get upset about that, but I explain it to them. And then when we go to court, you see I've got another chair over here. I'm sitting next to you. I'm standing next to you. I'm your advocate. I'm your buffer. I'm fighting for you in court. But in my office, I've got to challenge you, ask you those hard questions, and make sure you're giving me good, honest information that I am going to need to handle your case. Now, a lot of times in an initial consultation, you want to have all the emotion. We'll let you do that. But at some point, the emotion starts to get in the way of doing the job. And so part of what we do as attorneys is we don't let the emotion cloud it, and we bring that rational thinking mind. And so when you're meeting with an attorney, trust your gut. Look for somebody that's going to be honest with you and give you an honest assessment of your case. Walk through all the different outcomes that you might run into. But one that's just not going to sugarcoat it and do whatever you ask, because that person's probably just going to cost you a lot of money, and you're probably going to be disappointed in the result because it's not going to be the one promised. I can tell you in family law, there's that bell curve, right? Most cases are going to settle somewhere in here. Even if we go to trial, we're going to be somewhere in here. Rarely are we out here on the fringes. So keep that in mind. Unless there's fringe behavior, we're going to be in this middle part. So we're glad to help you. If you've got questions about your family law case, whether it's a divorce, custody, protective order, you're modifying custody, come see us. We'd be glad to help. Reach out to us, greaterzionlaw.com, and my name is Travis Christiansen.